and a very special welcome to all the new faces joining us for the first time. My name is Joseph. I am so grateful you are here. We are not just a channel, we are a community. We are a gathering of people who believe that light must be shown into the darkest corners, and that no story should be left untold, especially when a child is missing. Our mission, our sacred duty, is for Summer Wells. For over 3 years, a little girl has been missing from the hills of Tennessee. For over 3 years, her family has lived with a pain most of us cannot even imagine. The questions have lingered, haunting and unanswered. But I believe, with all my heart, that the truth is out there. It is waiting. And it will be found by people who refuse to give up, people like you and me. This moment, right now, is when we must work harder than ever. We must be the voices for the voiceless. We must share every report, examine every detail, and turn over every stone until we find her. I need you with me. Your eyes, your minds, and your determination are the most powerful tools we have. So please, as we walk this difficult path together, I ask for your strength. Drop your comments below with your thoughts and prayers. Like this video to tell the world that Summer's story still matters. Share this report on every platform you have, with your friends, your family, across your social media. Let's make her name echo until it cannot be ignored. And please, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. When you do, you are not just watching a video. You are joining a search party. You are standing up and saying, I am here to help. Together, we are an unstoppable force for truth. Now let us begin the search. To understand the mystery of Summer Wells, you must first understand the place where she vanished. It is not a simple place. It is a land of deep, green forests and rolling hills that seem to go on forever. The roads curl like ribbons around the mountains, and the trees keep secrets that are centuries old. This is Beech Creek, in Hawkins County, Tennessee. It is beautiful, but it is also a place where someone can disappear between one breath and the next. On a warm June evening in 2021, 5-year-old Summer Moon Wells was last seen at her home on Ben Hill Road. Her brother said she walked out the basement door. And then, she was gone, swallowed by that vast, green world. What followed was a blur of sirens and searchlights. Police cars with flashing lights lined the roads. Men and women with worried faces called her name into the woods. Helicopters beat the air above. On the television, her parents made desperate pleas for her safe return. The whole world watched and hoped for a miracle. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the hope began to fade. The search teams packed up and went home. The news cameras turned away to other stories. For many people, the case of Summer Wells became a sad, quiet memory. But for her family, for the police, and for people like us, the search never ended. The questions never faded away. Now, something has changed. New information has come to light, and it is forcing everyone to look at this story in a brand new way. We are no longer just asking, where is Summer? We are now asking a much more complicated question. Who knew this land well enough to make her disappear without a trace? For years, people have argued about two main ideas. The first idea is that Summer simply wandered off. A curious little girl who got lost in the endless woods. The second idea is that she was taken by a stranger in a car, snatched in a moment of terrible opportunity. These two ideas have divided people online. Some blamed the parents. Others defended them. It became a battle that created more anger than answers. But what if both of these stories are wrong? What if the truth is something different? Something more planned, more clever, and far more frightening? To find that truth, we must go back to the very beginning. We must look at the evidence that cannot argue, the evidence that cannot lie. In the first, frantic hours after Summer was reported missing, the police brought in special helpers, search dogs. These amazing animals are trained to follow the scent of a human being. They were given a piece of Summer's clothing. They found her scent at her home. And then, they went to work. The dogs led their handlers down a steep, narrow path from the Wells house into the woods. This path is so well used by the local dogs that people call it the dog trail. The dogs followed this trail all the way down to the edge of Ben Hill Road, where the soft dirt meets the hard, black asphalt. And right there, the dogs stopped. They seemed confused. They could not find the scent to follow anymore. Most people saw this and thought one thing: the trail ends here because she got into a car. It makes perfect sense. A vehicle pulls up, she is taken, and the car drives away. The scent is gone because she is gone. But people who work with these dogs for a living tell us that this might not be the whole story. They explain that a dog's nose is a miraculous thing, but it has limits. When a person walks on grass or dirt, they leave behind a strong, clear scent trail. It is like a bright line for the dog to follow. But when that person steps onto a road, especially a hot road on a summer day, everything changes. The scent does not just vanish. Instead, it shatters into pieces. It becomes weak and scattered. It is like a clear radio signal turning into painful static. The dog is trained to follow a scent that gets stronger and stronger. When that scent suddenly turns weak and confusing, the dog will often stop. It is not because the trail is over. It is because the trail has changed in a way the dog does not understand. This is a small detail, but it changes everything. It means that just because the dog stopped at the road, it does not prove Summer got into a car. It only proves that the scent changed at that spot. She could have been put into a car. Or she could have been picked up and carried across the road and into the woods on the other side. Or the person with her could have walked on the road for a short distance before going back into the trees. This one piece of knowledge opens a door to new and frightening possibilities. And when we walk through that door, we find the next piece of the puzzle, a piece that is perhaps the most chilling of all. For days after Summer disappeared, the search was growing desperate. Volunteers and police were searching through the night. On that night, a man who owns land near the Wells property found something that stopped his heart. In the soft soil of his woods, he saw a single, small footprint. It was a child's bare foot. Not far away, on his neighbor's land, another matching footprint was found. This man knew these were not the prints of his own children. He said his kids never went barefoot in the woods. The search dogs were brought to these prints. The dogs got excited. They alerted their handlers. This was Summer's scent. These prints were fresh. They had been made after she went missing. But there was something very strange about these footprints. There were only 2 of them. And they were not close together, like normal steps. They were far apart. The man who found them looked at the pattern and had a terrible thought. This did not look like a child walking. This looked like a child being carried. Imagine someone carrying a child. Every so often, they might need to put the child down for a single second to climb over a fallen tree or to get a better grip. The child's foot touches the ground for just a moment, leaving one lonely print. Then they are picked up again. This would create exactly what was found, 2 lone footprints, with no steps in between. This changes the picture in our minds completely. We are no longer imagining a little girl walking alone, confused and lost. We are now imagining a child who is silent, who is being moved with a terrible purpose through the forest. And the location of one of these prints makes this even more disturbing. It was found high up on a ridge. This is not a place a 5-year-old would go on her own. It is steep and difficult to climb. It is a place you would go to hide, to see without being seen, or to travel across the land without using the roads below. When the police and rescue teams found these footprints, they focused all their energy on that area. They searched it again and again. They had a heartbreaking theory. They wondered if someone had taken Summer, but then, seeing all the police and news reporters, got scared. Maybe, they thought, this person brought Summer back and left her in those woods, hoping she would be found. The teams searched with that fragile hope, but they found nothing. Only those 2 silent footprints remained, telling a story no one could fully understand. For a long time, many people, even those closely following the case, did not know what to do with this evidence. It was hard to explain. It did not fit the simple story of a wandering child or a quick kidnapping. So, some people just tried to ignore it. But you cannot ignore the truth forever. Evidence does not disappear just because it is inconvenient. Now let us think. We have a child who was likely carried. We have a path that goes to a road but does not clearly end there. We have footprints on a high ridge. What does all this tell us? It tells us that the person who took Summer Wells knew exactly what they were doing. They knew the land. They knew how to move through it without being seen. They knew that the main road might be watched, so they avoided it. They used the woods and the ridges as their own secret highway. This was not a random crime. This was a plan. And it required a very specific kind of knowledge. You would need to know which hidden paths to take. You would need to know which properties connect to which. You would need to know how to stay out of sight from the houses below. You would need to know the land like you know your own heartbeat. This points us away from a stranger just passing through. A stranger would not know these things. A stranger would likely use the road and hope for the best. This points us towards someone local. Someone for whom Beech Creek is not just a place on a map, but home. And this is where the story takes its most serious turn. In a close community, when you start looking for someone with deep local knowledge, you start looking at the families who have lived there for generations. The name of the road where Summer vanished is Ben Hill Road. The Hill family has roots in that area that go back a very long time. They are part of the history of the land itself. Recently, there was a major development in this case that shocked everyone. The FBI and other law enforcement agencies conducted a large search on a property on Van Hill Road, about 9.5 miles from Summer's home. This property is connected to the Hill family. Official sources have confirmed this search. What led them there? While the full details are private, information from reliable sources indicates it was linked to a vehicle, a specific truck that was tracked down and examined. What was found in that truck was important enough for the FBI to get permission to search the land thoroughly. This is no longer just a theory discussed online. This is an official action by the most powerful law enforcement agency in the country. They are following a trail. And that trail has led them from the footprints on the ridge to a property connected to a long-time local family. The public reaction to this has been enormous. The old arguments have been replaced by new, more focused questions. Online, people are using new words and phrases. The discussion has moved from, "Did the parents do it?" to, "Who knows these woods well enough to pull this off?" Some people post comments saying, "It makes sense now. It was someone who knew they couldn't drive out without being seen." Others reply, "But why? What would be the reason?" And a very sad question is asked by many. Does this mean someone in that community is responsible? The questions we face today are harder and more specific than ever before. Who is strong enough and familiar enough with that ridge to carry a child across it? If they were avoiding the road, where were they going? Was someone waiting for them elsewhere? How does the FBI's search 9 miles away connect to what happened on Ben Hill Road? And the most haunting question of all, could the person who did this still be living right there, walking the same roads, shopping at the same stores, hiding in plain sight? The weight of this new direction is heavy for everyone. For Summer's family, it is another layer of a nightmare that never ends. For the community of Beech Creek, it is a shadow of suspicion falling over neighbors and old friends. For us, the public, it is a challenge to think more deeply, to look beyond the easy answers. We are not here to accuse innocent people. We are here to find one missing little girl. And to do that, we must be brave enough to follow the evidence, no matter where it leads. Even if it leads into the heart of a quiet community. Even if it leads to a truth that is difficult to hear. The story of Summer Wells is no longer a simple mystery. It is a map. A map of a hidden journey through the trees. A map that requires local knowledge to read. Our job is to help the authorities decipher that map. And this is where I need you. I truly need you. Someone watching this right now knows something. You may live in Hawkins County. You may have lived there years ago. You may know the Hill family. You may know about the old trails in those woods. You may have heard a piece of a conversation that seemed unimportant but now feels different. You may have seen something on the day Summer disappeared that you never told anyone about. It is not too late to speak up. No piece of information is too small. Your memory could be the key that unlocks this entire case. You could be the one to bring Summer home. So I am asking you, I am pleading with you, if you know anything, please contact the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. You can call them at 1-800-TBIFIND. You can remain anonymous. But please find the courage to make that call. A family is waiting. A little girl is waiting. And for the rest of us, our job is to keep the light shining on this case. We must not let the world forget Summer Wells. We must be her voice. So, my friends, let us get to work. Drop your comments below. Tell me what you think about this new direction. Does the idea of an on-foot abduction make sense to you? Who in a small community would have the kind of knowledge we are talking about? Your thoughts could spark an idea in someone else's mind. Like this video. When you like it, you tell the world that this story is important. That it needs to be shown to more people. You help us reach a wider audience, and that wider audience might include the one person who has the answer. Share this video. Share it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Share it in your group chats. Email it to your friends. Let us create a wave of attention that covers the entire internet. Let us make it so that everyone is talking about Summer Wells again. And please subscribe to this channel. Click that notification bell. By subscribing, you are telling me you are part of this team. You are saying, Joseph, I am with you. Let's find her. And every time there is a new development, every time we have new information to share, you will be the first to know. We will walk this path together, step by step, until we reach the end. This is our mission. This is our responsibility. Summer has been missing for over 1,000 days. That is too long. Her family has wept too many tears. It is time for this mystery to end. It is time for Summer to come home. With your help, we can do this. With your shares, your comments, your subscriptions, we can create a force for truth that cannot be stopped. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being a person of conscience in a world that often forgets. God bless you. And God bless Summer Wells. We will not rest until she is found.